this tweet. So there's a new show this season called The Apothecary Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was some hubbub about it on Twitter. And so essentially, was it Shojo Crave who tweeted it out? Who?
Um, I think people started quote tweeting their tweet.
Yeah, yeah.
But this conversation has happened every single time. This is the second time this year it's happened. The first
Hmm.
time was with Skip and Loafer. I feel like we have the same conversation whenever there is a seinen series
Yes.
that appeals to a larger like female demographic,
Hmm.
and we use the term, well, not everyone, but some people use the term shojo coded.
Shojo coded, or in this tweet, it was the main male character in
Mm-hmm.
the apothecary. I can never say it, Apothecary Diaries. Who his name's Jinshi, and
Mm-hmm.
they said he was shojo coded,
Mm-hmm.
and people lost their shit over that.
Yeah.
They were not happy with calling him shojo coded, or like honorary shojo boy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had
That's
just
that's why it started. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had just watched the fourth episode, so we watched the
Mm-hmm.
first three episodes after last episode. So we didn't talk about it last episode, and we were going to talk about it this episode, and then that stuff happened. And
Mm-hmm.
oh boy, because like here's the thing, right? I have a problem with people like I know this is a seinen series. I know they say it's a seinen series, but my little heart, my little brain could not wrap my head around this being like purely like made for a adult men audience,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not with at least Jinshi existing in it. Like, hello?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we'll talk more about Jinshi
Yeah,
too,
well,
but
yeah.
yeah.
But I went to look it up. I looked it up to double check, right? And yes, it is a seinen series. It was published by Square Enix. But the original source material is a novel. And it was written by a woman for a female demographic. And so again, this is kind of why we say like demographics are not always like they're not always like concrete, and they're not
Mm-hmm.
always like, well, if this anime is this, then therefore it is this, or this manga is this, because more than likely Square Enix picked up this series because the novel was a really well selling novel, right, for a female
Mm-hmm.
audience. But because Squeenix does not do shoujo or josei, it's going to automatically be serialized as a seinen
Yeah.
because they do have a seinen magazine. I
I
can't
think
remember.
that's what people like forget.
Hmm.
Cause like Kodansha, they have both shoujo, they have josei, they have seinen magazines.
Hmm.
But not every single publisher has all the demographics within their publication or whatever.
Yep.
And like we discussed in our demographics video, a lot of publishers like uh and authors are just kind of going more the digital route as well. So
Hmm.
it, the demographics are getting more and more blurred in Japan. So it's just for me, it's weird that so many Western fans have such like they get very defensive over these Japanese demographics.
Yep.
When at the end of the day, those demographics don't affect the way we consume the media
No.
overseas.
Oh, absolutely not. Well, I think a lot of these shojo fans are upset because something like look, I get it. As shojo
Hmm.
fans, we don't get a lot, right? We don't
Yeah.
we don't really get a lot. We are kind of in a shojo renaissance right now, but for years we didn't really get anything, right? But I almost feel like it has become a bit of like a superiority complex of
Hmm.
like, well, Jinshi is from the series that's a seinen, and any man outside of shoujo and josei is not better than our shoujo and josei men, right?
Hmm.
And that's at least that's my personal opinion of how I feel like I'm interpreting why people are upset, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I can
It's
see it that way.
it's
Yeah.
just like they get defensive, right?
Hmm.
And like, but Jinshi is like in a way that is not like similar to like Nanami from like Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Where,
Hmm.
you know, like we just had like the hair grabbing scene. I don't know anything about Jujutsu Kaisen. I just know this man pulled on someone's hair and everyone lost their shit.
Yeah,
I don't even, I would say like a lot of those like a lot of the men in shonen and shonen and seinen that women thirst for, they are
hmm
very much like more masculine men. Like they not okay, not more masculine, but like they are more like traditionally masculine, right?
yeah, I would say so.
And
It's
so go ahead.
For me, it's like very evident when a male character is written by a female author
Yes.
than when they're written by a male author. And in
Yeah.
this case, like Stella mentioned, Jinshi was created, and this whole series was created by a female creator. So
Yeah.
it is very evident that this, like, Jinshi, I mean, is he shoujo coded? Sure, for the sake of just keeping it simple. But he just, his appeal, I think female, uh, female fans would get his appeal a lot more than like, he, like, nothing about him says male gaze.
Nothing,
Yeah.
not
That's what
not
I'm
a
trying to
damn
say.
thing. I've nothing about him says male gaze at all.
Sorry, my brain is all fuzzy. I'm still a little sick.
No, you're good. Don't worry.
But yeah, nothing about him says like male gaze. And nothing about this series really says male gaze other than like some of the female characters having really large breasts, but still it's not,
I still feel like okay, because like
they're
even
not,
though they
like, they're
have
not objectified.
yeah,
That's
like even
mhm,
though they're like prostitutes, you know, like but like
yeah.
there's something about how this series like portrays like the concubines and like the
Mhm.
prostitutes and stuff that make me like go like I'm like okay, so yes, they're hot, but is this male gaze hot? You know,
Mhm.
or is this like they are hot? Like they're not they don't feel objectified in the same way as I see in anime because I feel like
Yeah.
if this was like male gaze objectification, what would happen would be titties would be flying everywhere.
Yes.
Like yes,
Mhm.
they have big boobs and they're like very out and you see a lot of cleavage. But there's not a lot of jigglies going on.
No,
Like
no, no.
they're
They
not
just look,
jiggling.
to me, they just look very like voluptuous, but like
Yes.
in a very beautiful way. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like they just look very womanly. I don't know. Like it's just everything about this series is honestly like a treat for the eyes.